Hiya, Keren Beaumont here from Keren Beaumont Personal Styling. Right, I think Laurel's just connected me up, so hopefully you can see and hear me clearly. For those who are just joining or just seeing this, it's Keren Beaumont of Keren Beaumont Personal Styling here. So today I'm going to talk about a few things. Ultimately, it's about what you can expect if you hire a personal stylist. So there are a few things really that we're going to cover in today's live session. So why do people use a stylist in the first place? And why do things go wrong when people shop for themselves? And why do people end up with so much in their wardrobe that, that they don't end up wearing in the future? So, okay, great. Glad to hear that we're up and running and everybody can hear me. That's good. So I'm going to just start off by giving you a few facts. And please feel free to chip in and ask questions at any point. It's totally fine. That's what we're here for. This is a very relaxed session and I'm totally here to answer your questions. So what I'm going to start off talking about is, as I said, a few facts about what goes wrong with people's wardrobes. So just so you know, the average wardrobe at any given point in time, and you know, we're really talking about probably British women for the sake of this example, are probably worth about £5,000 if you add up everything that's in your wardrobe. And you know, for some people that'll be a lot more, for some people it won't be. And as quite an astonishing fact for me was that people can spend up to £100,000 in their lifetime on clothes. And the shocking thing that I found out about that number is that people tend to live in 20% of their wardrobe. Without fail, pretty much every client's home that I go to tells me they're living in several outfits and not really spreading the love of wearing everything in their closet. It just doesn't happen. So technically, in a lifetime, somebody could be wasting between £70,000 to £80,000 on clothes that aren't right for them to wear. And another thing that was very interesting is when you look at the annual spend that a British woman makes on her wardrobe, it's roughly 65% higher than the average French woman, which is slightly surprising when you initially hear that, because you know, people think of the French as being the super chic, the really well dressed. So how is it that they're spending so much less? And part of that is explainable if we talk about what goes wrong when people put their wardrobes together and shop for themselves. So first of all, people often buy things that they like or that they're drawn to. They see things on their friends, they see things in magazines. We're constantly shouted at by media, you should be wearing this, you should be wearing that, this is this season's colour, this is the trouser of the season. And we start to believe these things and think we should be wearing them. And plus, you know what, we probably do like some of them because there are some gorgeous designs and trends out there and we see our friends wearing lovely clothes. So we go out and we buy what we like, even if it's a colour that we like. And the danger with that is that you're starting from a point of, I like this item, or I want this item, versus what should I be wearing to look my best? And we may know that there are certain things that look good on us, but there's also this good, better and best. And that's what what I teach my clients are which colours look good on them and which look amazing on them. Because ultimately, no point using a stylist if you're just going for good, it's got to be the best possible version. So just for those who've just joined, I'm Keren Beaumont, I'm a personal stylist, and what I'm talking about today is why people end up needing to use a stylist, what goes wrong when you do your shopping, and how you can avoid these issues. So I just mentioned that as one of the staggering facts I found out was that people spend up to £100,000 on their clothes in a lifetime. And live in around 20% of that, albeit there are holiday clothes and there are occasion clothes. Oh, hello, Laura. And, you know, this is where people often end up living in a small part of their wardrobe and wasting, as we said, £50,000 in their lifetime, 70, even £80,000 of clothes in their lifetime. And you know, the ones who get it really right, and I often refer to French women as an example, they spend less overall in their lifetime, but they buy to last. And they find a formula of what works for you. So they understand what suits them, and they also develop a signature style. So rather than just saying yes to the trends or going for things that they see on a whim when they're in store, they tend to buy to their signature style. And that means that they know what suits their body shape and what suits their colouring, and they buy to fit that. So they go out with a certain agenda and list and criteria that every piece of clothing must have, and they really take their time and consider every purchase. There are no impulse purchases, and that is really the way to build a successful wardrobe, is really knowing what colours you should wear, what shapes suit your body, and also making sure that you know yourself, and you know what your style is and what just doesn't feel right for you, and sticking to that and not going off piece too much, because whilst it's great to trial things and be open-minded, often those things end up being bad experiments and things you never end up wearing again. The other issue is, other than not knowing what suits you because you've never taken the time to find out, it's about panic buying. So people often buy things on a short turnaround, not having a lot of time to be in store. They've got, I don't know, a big party coming up at the weekend and they just haven't found anything yet, so they panic buy. So planning is really, really important in terms of, you know, having the right wardrobe and having the right pieces. Yeah, so Laurel's agreeing with me on that. Okay, so what happens when you use a stylist? So I'm just going to walk you through the process so that you understand what you can expect to experience. So first of all, when I meet a client for the first time, I start to understand their personality and what they like and what they don't like. So we go through a series of mood boards that I keep and really understand what appeals to them and what doesn't. And we talk about their lifestyle and what works for them. So, you know, my clients could be anybody from a mum who's doing the school run in the morning, perhaps she's going to the gym, she may do some admin in the afternoon if she's working part-time, she may meet friends, or it may be somebody who's full-time working in town. You just don't know. Sorry, I'm just going to put this phone on silent. I thought it was on silent already. Let's fix that now. There we go. No more beeps and disturbing. Okay, so once I've met them and I've sort of figured out this is your personality, this is what's going to suit you, this is what you like and what appeals to you, then we go on to the technical part where I look at their colouring and I advise not only what sorts of colours suit them, but how dark or how light it should be, how to mix colours together to look their best. And let's just focus on women rather than men for a minute. For women, the colours you wear are almost like an addition to the makeup that you wear. The colours you wear can make you look prettier or make you look plainer. They really can bring out your beauty and reflect the colours in your natural colouring. So that's what we're looking to do. With men, it's slightly different. You don't necessarily use the colours to make them look pretty. You're kind of using them for other things. With businessmen in particular, I use colour and depth of colour to give gravitas and presence. Because generally men have a different agenda when using a stylist to women. So we go through what colours suit you, and then we look at your body shape and advise on which particular cuts and shapes are going to make you look your best and how to combine them. Every body is different, and whilst there are key body shapes, within that you get larger versions and smaller versions of each of those body shapes. So overall I'd say there are 4 key shapes, and then you've got the larger and the smaller version of each. And whether you are the larger or the smaller version of your body shape, the same rules tend to apply. You're just sort of looking at a slightly different, whether you're going to go for more fitted or slightly more generous cuts, depending on the size of the body. So those are the things I take into consideration, and I give my clients a lot of notes. They often go away buying a feedback book. So I give it's a document, it's a personalised document for you that lists all your colours in it, how to wear them, how to combine colours, how to shop for different shapes that suit you. And then we use the client's wardrobe as an example of colours and shapes, and we go through the wardrobe and we pull out the things that don't fit the criteria of what I've said suits them. And I get them to put them on and show them, look, this is why it doesn't work for you. And then we put on the things that I tell them does suit them, and then they start to see, okay, this is what does suit me, and they can really see the difference. And sometimes it's really staggering for them because there's been things they've been living in all their lives and wearing all the time, which look fine. But then when they put the thing on that I say is going to make you look your best as opposed to just good, then they're like, wow, okay, I can really, really see the difference. And then once we go through the wardrobe and we kind of edit out things that they shouldn't be wearing anymore with the client's agreement, we then make a list of what an ideal capsule wardrobe would be. And going back to what we said at the beginning about French women spending less on their clothes, surprisingly, than British women, is because they're working to a capsule wardrobe. They buy pieces that they're in love with, that are going to mix and match with lots of different things, and that are going to work really, really hard for them. And it's about value per wear. So something you're going to be able, that's going to last you, you're going to get a lot of wear out of, and can mix into lots of different combinations. So when I'm shopping for a client, I would never suggest to them to buy something that doesn't go with at least 3 other items that they already have in their wardrobe. So that's a really, really crucial criteria. So any questions on that so far? I know there's a few people watching and commenting, but please feel free, if there's anything you particularly want to know, then go for it and ask. Okay, so then what happens is once we've got that capsule wardrobe plan, we're well placed to go out and start shopping for you. Now, when I say we go out shopping for you, it's really me that goes out and finds the items. So you get to just show up once everything's been found. For people who've just joined, we're going through the process of what you can expect when you work with a personal shopper or a stylist. So I go out and I source all the items for you. Depending on your budget, we'd shop in different locations. So it could be anything from high street to high end, depending on how much you're interested in spending on your wardrobe at that point in time. Don't forget, we will have gone through your wardrobe and found things that you might not have worn for a while, that we'll say, actually, you know, we've got our list of things that we want you to be owning and wearing, and actually you own some of those already. So then it's just filling the gaps of what you don't have already that we put into the list. And we'll go out and I'll source all those items for you, and if it's appropriate, I'll book a personal shopping room somewhere, so you've got your private space to shop, and you come along and you try on all the items and you do your shopping. And once that's done, if you want to see how that all works back together with the pieces you already have in your wardrobe, typically a stylist will come back to your home and go through what's already in your wardrobe and showing you how to combine outfits and how to create all different outfit combinations from what you've just bought. Because as we said, we're looking for pieces that work really hard for you. And a useful tool that a lot of my clients like to have is a lookbook. So I can create, if you think a bit like sort of Cher from Clueless, a lookbook that shows you all the different outfit combinations you can make with the pieces in your wardrobe. Now, one thing that I would like to add is when you're working with a capsule wardrobe, A, it costs you less, B, your pieces last longer, and C, you're living in pieces that you love and suit you. However, people sometimes think, okay, well, if it goes with everything, it's going to be boring and it's going to be a bit sort of neutral and core. That's not necessarily the case. We would agree on a certain palette that suits you, a limited palette that you're going to live in, and so that everything can combine together well. And from that, what we would do is build your wardrobe from that palette. Now, in terms of it not being boring, you know, we will have already spoken about your personality and what appeals to you, and we'll make sure that all of the pieces we choose for you reflect your personality so you don't get bored of them. So that's how we do it, is you have pieces that you genuinely love, there's nothing boring about it. The other thing is because you're saving money overall by buying less, but buying, you know, really good pieces that last from season to season, you do have some money over in this model of how to set up a wardrobe to do seasonal add-ons. And that's where you can refresh your wardrobe with some exciting new season pieces, really limit it to just 1 or 2 per season. And you don't need to spend a lot on those, because the chances are these are not the pieces that you're going to carry with you and wear forever. So you can spend a bit less here. The pieces where I do encourage my clients to spend a bit more are always going to be your shoes and your bags, that outer layer of your wardrobe, so coats and jackets. If you do wear tailoring, it shouldn't be cheap. You can find nice tailoring on the high street. You can occasionally find nice things in places like Topshop and Reiss, and that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you're really aware of the fabric and that it's good quality. and in that case it's absolutely fine to buy those pieces on the high street. You just got to really, really watch the quality on all of that outer layer and tailoring. Then where you can afford to perhaps spend fraction less, but you still want really good quality and you want it to last, are key pieces of knitwear, good trousers, good blouses, that type of thing. And you know, if it's a wear with everything or goes with everything type of dress, then again, make sure it's good quality. Otherwise you're consistently replacing that dress, which makes it more expensive in exercise than it should be. And finally, you know, as I said, we just spoke about the seasonal updates. They don't need to be expensive because they don't need to last the years as some of the other pieces do. Historically, people had heirloom pieces. People bought classics and passed them down. There's no reason why that shouldn't be the case now. And socially, we're all moving towards a feeling of responsibility towards the environment and responsible shopping and ethical shopping. And, you know, using this model of having a capsule wardrobe and buying less, but things that you love and things that last, means you buy less and you waste less and you dispose of less, meaning that we're causing less usage of the world's natural resources. You know, who knew this was going to be an ecology talk? I certainly didn't when I started the live session. But there you go, it's all completely linked. There are lots of brands who are very environmentally friendly. Some of them do end up being more expensive. But what I would say is if you're buying less and buying pieces that last, then, you know, you're doing your bit anyway. So that's really the model that I work to. So we start off, as we said, with a sort of home visit and analysis of what sort of person you are and what appeals to you by looking at mood boards for inspiration. We then see what colours and shapes suit you. And so I've got a really clear profile of how you want to look, what suits you, what makes you look your best. And then, you know, I'm in a position to then say, right, let's agree, these are the pieces you need to add to your wardrobe. We've looked through your wardrobe, we've seen what's in there, what works and what doesn't work. And I'm then good to go out and shop for you. So I find the pieces, no hard work for you, very simple, very easy for you. You show up and say yes or no to the things. I'll explain to you why they've been chosen and why they suit you. And then you go away with your new pieces. And if it's useful, a lot of my clients then go on to have a lookbook made to show them all the different outfit combinations they could wear, so they know what to do with their new pieces and how to combine them with the pieces that are already in their wardrobe. So guys, look, I'm coming up to finishing relatively soon, so if there's any last minute questions, feel free to ask. If there's anything that you are feeling you don't want to ask in public right now, you can contact me separately. I'm happy to offer all the Laurel Leaf members a 30-minute consultation, which will be via video call if you'd like to do that, and then we can focus specifically on you without a big audience and answer any questions that you've got. So I hope this was useful and interesting to you, and I look forward to speaking to some of you soon. Right guys, have a lovely day and talk to some of you soon. Bye.